Hello and welcome back to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Dumbest Moments of the Week. Well, we've been off of this series for a week or so now, but that's not because there was a lack of dumb AOC content out there. We just got busy with a few other things here on the show, so now we can finally touch base again with our least favorite congresswoman. This week, we got a couple of videos of hers to catch up on, including a promo for her new Netflix documentary. And also, there was this weird cringy painting video Alex made and narrated for too. After that, we'll get to her talking about VA, or the Veteran Affairs, a topic which Trump actually ended up agreeing with Cortez on. She didn't take too kindly to that though, to say the least. And finally, there's also a special new impersonator of Alex's that I want to share with you guys today too. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. First things first, let's start from the beginning. Let's go ahead and start with the painting video I mentioned, since that's what Lexi tweeted first. Here's the tweet, which is now pinned to the top of her profile. It says, "Climate change is here. We've got a deadline. 12 years left to cut emissions in half. A Green New Deal is our plan for a world and a future worth fighting for. How did we get here? What is at stake? And where are we going? Please watch and share widely." Wow, looks like Alex is sticking to her guns on this whole "the world is going to end in 12 years if you don't do what I say" thing. The thing about that is though, she's been saying this for months now. When exactly does that clock start ticking anyway? Because I feel like we should be at 11 and a half years to go if this world-ending prediction was really true. Regardless, let's go ahead and check out the video attached to this and see what AOC has to say.
In 2019, I was a freshman in the most diverse Congress in history. Up to that point, it was a critical time. I'll never forget the children in our community. They were so inspired to see this new class of politicians who reflected them, navigating the halls of power.
Geez, can this spread get any more diverse? Diverse in the liberal sense, that is, meaning less whites, of course. And no men are allowed here either, I guess, because they're so diverse. Give me a break. Having all black or brown women doesn't make you more diverse than anyone else. And also, this surely isn't a group with a diverse set of opinions and stances on issues. They're all radical liberals and SJWs who tout the same lame left-wing talking points day after day. So, in theory, a room full of white people could actually be more diverse than this. Whites aren't some big worldwide monolith after all. There are whites from Britain, France, Spain, Russia, South Africa, America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, just to name some big ones. So don't give me this "we're so brown and diverse" crap, because you're all just going to think exactly the same way anyway. And who's to say being more diverse and varied in color is preferable anyway? Alex just states we are the most diverse, as if that's implied to be positive, when it's really not. I mean, I can imagine why she would say that though. Diversity of experience and background brings more varied ideas to the table, but as I said before, for as diverse as this group of women in the painting are, they all think the same and push the same liberal talking points. So what's the point of trying to be diverse anyway? Might as well be a group of 7 Filipino men, because that group's ideas are just as diverse as this one in the picture. And also, there's a lot to be said for the positive of things not being diverse. Homogeneity in a group or people or representatives can have its own upsides too. Places like Japan and Israel are very homogenous with their peoples and in their governments. And their countries are doing extremely well too, so don't let Alex Cortez fool you here. She wants us all to go along with her assumption that more diverse means better, but it really doesn't. So unless she wants to back up that claim with some facts or evidence, let's just assume she's wrong then, or she doesn't know what she's talking about. Sound good? Great. Moving on.
I think there was something similar with the Green New Deal. We knew that we needed to save the planet and that we had all the technology to do it, but people were scared. They said it was too big, too fast, not practical. I think that's because they just couldn't picture it yet.
Wow, she really sounds young and naive, huh? I mean, she really thinks she's saving the world here. And that's the kind of thing teenagers and college students like to think, when they're really not saving shit. I used to remember fellow students of mine who would do shit like this, like, say, collect trash for recycling or mow their neighbor's lawn for free or something. Then they would go and brag about it and think they're saving the world, just like AOC. What I'm getting at here is, this is a young, naive, childish way of thinking, and it's also not really based on what the person claims. Alex and others act as if they're doing this kind of campaign to save the world, and they're pretending to be doing it as a charitable, humble servant of the people, here to help us all, when, really, these kinds of people are doing this shit for themselves and their own egos. They want to virtue signal and look hip and enlightened to everyone else. And of course, there's also the fact that what they're doing isn't saving the world in the first place. So, needless to say, the whole premise here is bullshit, right from the beginning all the way to the end.
Within 2 years, one of the world's biggest supertankers was outfitted with a state-of-the-art lab to measure CO2 in the ocean, gathering more data about global warming. Guess who was doing all of this research? ExxonMobil, the oil and gas company. Oh yeah, Exxon knew this whole time.
Well, we've got our first white men in this video, and surprise, surprise, they're evil, heartless corporate villains. I think you guys get the point here of Alex's video then. Black and brown people are good. They are saving the world, while white people are bad and we're monsters who are destroying it. What a goddamn joke. And if you're not seeing this as low-key anti-white racism, I really don't know what else to tell you. This kind of rhetoric has been coming from Alex Cortez since she came out too. She's always been talking about fake white supremacy problems as well, like there's some sort of secret white privilege we all get or something. Please. The only privilege we have is that we're much smarter than you, Alex. But that's not saying much, is it? I mean, 8-year-old children can outsmart and outspeak AOC at this point, so yeah, I think she's just jealous because her brain don't work right. Next, let's move on to another well-polished but stupid video from Alex Cortez. This time she's tweeting about a Netflix documentary coming out about her. And before we get to it, how come Netflix always makes these annoyingly pro-liberal docs for Democrats like AOC or Obama, but when they finally make something about a conservative like Trump, it's always filled with lies and bullshit trying to slander him? They really got a libtard bias going on at Netflix, clearly. Regardless of that though, let's go ahead and check out Lexi's tweet and video anyway. The tweet reads, "Before my primary, 3 women and I agreed to film our journey of trying to run for office without big money. Now Knock Down the House hits Netflix and select theaters next week, May 1st. To find or host a local community screening, follow Knockdown Movie." So not only is Alex using the term journey in an annoying way, sounding like a ditzy college girl going on one of those diet or workout journeys, well, besides that, I don't know what this bullshit is about with her running her election without big money, whatever that means. I guess she's trying to virtue signal again, saying she didn't have establishment or corporate sponsors or something. Doesn't matter though, and is likely not even true. The truth is, Alex was cast for her role as a candidate by the Justice Democrats, a hardcore left-wing think tank full of communists trying to make America a shitty socialist country like Venezuela. So let's not pretend Alex is doing all this shit on her own. She wasn't even going to run for office at all on her own in the first place. She didn't decide to do it until her brother introduced her to the Justice Democrats, and they pushed her into it, making her brand, talking points, image, and everything. She's a total fabrication. I mean, do you guys really think a big ditz with a baby voice like Alex could have done all this on her own, like how she implies? Please. If you think that, you're just as naive as Cortez herself. But let's go ahead and check out the video for this Netflix doc anyway and see what's up with it.
If I was a rational person, I would have dropped out of this race a long time ago.
Crowley hasn't had a primary challenger in 14 years.
He's taken $3 million per cycle. He's gonna tell me I'm small, that I'm young, that I'm inexperienced.
You're all of those things though. You are small, young, and inexperienced, so your primary opponent calling you that would be extremely accurate. The only reason you beat your opponent, who's been a representative in New York for years, well, the only reason you beat him anyway is because he's an old white dude. And fortunately for AOC, her current Democratic Party is obsessed with race and gender. They hate whites and love browns. And that's why they voted for Alex even though she's inexperienced and dumb as a box of rocks. And now, months later, and she wants to pretend she won this all on her own because of her great ideas and campaign or something. Come on, you won this because you're a brown woman who was chosen by a communist think tank to be brought into politics and vote out the more moderate Democrats.
I'm running because everyday Americans deserve to be represented by everyday Americans. I get scared of the cynicism from people really believing in something and then it not working out. I just don't want to let them down.
But you already did, Alex. This doc may have been shot before you won your election, but since then, Cortez has done nothing but make things worse and worse for her and the Democrats. And it's funny how she has the balls to be a part of a Netflix documentary, which probably paid her extremely well for these appearances. Sounds like capitalism is working out well for Alex now, huh? So despite her bashing of our economic system and pushing for us to go towards the failing socialist system, well, Alex still hypocritically embraces capitalism when it suits her needs. Next, let's talk about AOC's flip-flopping when talking about the VA this week. The VA, or Veterans Affairs, is a support network for all our nation's retired soldiers. An article from Fox has more details. It's called AOC Blasts GOP, the Grand Old Party, or the Republicans. Says the VA doesn't need to be privatized after Trump agrees with her on quality of service. Let's take a look at some of the details in this. You see, first what happened was AOC defended the VA at a recent town hall, saying they provided some of the highest quality care to veterans. Then Trump went on to agree with her, responding with this tweet saying, "Rep AOC is correct. The VA is not not broken. It is doing great, but that is only because of the Trump administration. We got Veterans Choice and Accountability passed. President Trump deserves a lot of credit. Dan Caldwell, Concerned Veterans of America. Well put, Mr. Prez. But as we saw before, a week or so ago in that story where Cher accidentally agreed with Trump, well, Alex doesn't like that feeling either. That's why she went on this rant afterwards saying, like many public systems, GOP want to rip the battery out and say the whole car doesn't work so they can sell it for parts. Fully funding the VA and hiring to fill the 49K vacancies is a clear path to improving it, not auctioning off our vet care systems to for-profit companies. So yeah, I think you guys get the point. When Democrats like Cher or Alex Cortez accidentally get in line with our president, Donald J. Trump, they almost immediately backtrack and try and disagree with him in some other way. It's kind of sad, pathetic, and a little embarrassing for them. I mean, you can agree with people you don't like sometimes. Your opponents can be accurate on some things and wrong on others. The problem is, modern millennial liberals like AOC, they have Trump derangement syndrome so bad, they have to find a way to disagree with the president and bash him on everything, even if they actually agree, and even if he's right, and even if he's doing what's best for the country. The libs will still go after him because they just hate him that much. And this really shows how stupid and petty these kinds of people are. Lastly, let's finally get to that new AOC impersonator I mentioned before. We've gone over a couple impersonators here in this series, but this new one has a very interesting angle. This time it's an 8-year-old girl doing the parody of Alex Cortez, and I have to say, she's extremely hilarious at it. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Like, I'm Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC, and I want to talk about climate change because there's no doubt cow farts are making the climate change. In July, the climate was 96 degrees. And in February, the climate was 36 degrees.
Ha! Absolutely a riot. And this girl is not only smart and well-spoken for her age, she's also adorable. And what's smart and well-spoken for an 8-year-old like her? Well, that's extremely slow and childlike for an adult like Alex Cortez. Alex sounds like this girl right now, and she's a 29-year-old approaching the wall, grown-ass woman. This 8-year-old mini-me Alex also has the look down too. The hair is perfect, the glasses, and even red lipstick. She's got AOC style down pat. And then you add in the silly things she's saying about climate change, and wow, this is already looking really well done.
Socialism is actually short for social media. Did you know that? I use social media, so I'm a socialist. And 3 of the most successful countries in the world are socialist too. Venezuela, Facebook, and Twitter are all very successful socialist countries.
Well put, kiddo. I don't know who this kid has as a writer, but they certainly need mad props for this too, because not only was this kid a joy to watch, but also the script for this was pretty on point. I've got links to this video and the other stories discussed today below in the description if you want to check them out some more, and hopefully in the future we'll see more of these parody videos of AOC made by this cute 8-year-old girl who is certainly completely and absolutely hilarious. What do you guys think? Was AOC being a little extra dumb this week? What about her painting video that pushed minorities and also low-key bashed whites? Was that offensive? And do you think you will watch that cringy Netflix documentary made about Cortez? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.